Welcome back to another episode of
Full and Hard Truths,
where we talk about the raw, uncut stories of our traditional soldiers. Today here we got a special guest.
family.
Yes, sir. We got formerly known as Staff Sergeant Cooper. He goes by many names, many titles. Just let the people know who you are.
Yo, so what's up, y'all? My name is Kevin Cooper. I also go by Chef Steak. When I was in the military, I was a staff sergeant E6. I'm an Army veteran, born and raised in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
Whoa.
Was in the active duty, then I transitioned to the National Guard, turned chef, went to culinary school, started a catering company, went on a few Food Network shows, and now I'm here.
Hey, that's what's up. That's what's up. So me and Sergeant Chester here, we got very personal experiences with you.
Yeah.
If y'all watched the first episode, y'all know that this is the very first person that we shouted out for.
Are you serious?
No, for a fact.
So you didn't subscribe.
Yeah,
That's what that was.
Oh,
See,
if you watched it to the end, you would have known.
Gave you a shout
The
out.
very first person that we said that was
You
going to
and
be
Sergeant
our
Young.
person that we was going to shout out was you.
I thought I saw the whole episode. Maybe it was the second.
No, it was definitely the first.
Definitely the first.
The first
Okay, so my bad. Let me go back in there because I didn't know stuff.
No, that's a fact. That's a fact.
Leave a comment.
Please like, follow, and subscribe, y'all. But yeah, no, on a serious note though, but we wanted to definitely bring you on because you got extremely outstanding career as far as your active duty wise, like you said, your National Guard wise, and get a little bit to the chef side of you. So let the people know about your active duty time.
So active duty, man. So I didn't join the military at an early age, right? I was 24 years old when I joined,
Okay.
right? So for me, it was kind of a culture shock because I was already embedded in the city of Philly. It was already embedded in me. It wasn't like the typical transition out of high school phase where,
Right.
that's typically when people would join, right? So when I joined active duty, it was specifically to go to school, right? It wasn't for anything else but to go to school. But when I joined, it was cool for me, man. So my first duty station after I did basic training in the ART was the 82nd Airborne, Fort Bragg, 82nd Airborne.
Hold
You understand?
on, cause we always hear about them 82nd guys. Hold on now. Talk heavy, son.
So yeah, the 82nd was crazy for me. I didn't jump out of the airplanes, but I was in the 82nd, right?
Okay.
So
Okay.
I supported the 82nd, which was technically all of like field artillery, infantry, all of that, right? So who I supported was 327 Field Artillery.
Okay.
And it was a good time, man. I got soldiered up. We ran 8 to 10 miles every day down right there.
10 miles.
I know the league.
Right? That's why I'm still on the profile to this day. That's why I'm still on the Army profile to this day. If y'all remember, I didn't run it when I went to the National Guard.
We know.
I wasn't a runner at the National Guard, right? Because I was on profile because they ran my legs away. You know what I mean? And I was the guidon bearer for a while. So
Okay.
I was the one in front of the platoon running
Formation,
flag.
right.
You know what I'm
Nice.
saying?
Oh, so you was fast.
Yeah.
See, we needed where that son of Zar Coot. Wait, I ain't see that son of him. I never seen him. I ain't me neither.
Oh, y'all probably saw me one time, and that's when we had that first AT together. When I went out there and I take
I
these.
can't- I
You don't remember, but I can remember that.
I do.
I'll probably bring it up because the lieutenant colonel gave me a coin
Oh, okay.
for motivation.
Okay.
But we'll get there.
Yeah.
So 82nd Airborne, messing my legs up. That's why I became a soldier. My first sergeant actually pulled me off the line because I was an 88 Mike. He pulled me off the line and he allowed me to work in the office. So I was working like as a 42 Alpha.
Okay.
So while I was working as a 42 Alpha, I was also going to school every day. So I would finish my duty day and I would go to college right after school.
Okay.
Because my commander wanted me to go green to gold. Right?
Okay.
I
Nice.
decided to stay, enlisted because that's where my heart was.
Okay.
Right. So I went to armor school. I went to college. I went to field artillery school. I was the unit armor at one time. I worked as a 42 Alpha, so I knew all of the behind the scenes stuff when I in the military instead of just being on the line as an 88 Mike. So my first duty station pretty much soldiered me up, taught me everything about the Army. So by the time I got to you guys, even though it was a few duty stations after that, that's how I knew all the regulations. That's how I knew how to be squared away as an Army soldier once I transitioned to the National Guard. After that, I went to Korea. I was stationed in Korea for a little over a year. I was stationed in JBLM. over in Seattle, Tacoma, Washington, and a few different small travels in between and then that's when I transitioned over to
National Guard. There we go. There we go. Oh, let's get there. We definitely go there to that. Yeah. Wow. Why you say that?
So for me,
I want to hurry up and wait.
when I talk about my first sergeant when I was at Fort Bragg, North Carolina, a lot of people automatically assumed that he was a black man, right? And he wasn't. He wasn't. He was a white guy, right? He took me under his wing. He got on my M and F nerves, right? He was sending me to all these military schools, but he basically took me under my wing and he showed me how to be successful in the industry.
Right.
And from there on out, I was under the wing of really, really great leadership who showed me the way on how to become successful within the military,
Right.
how to make my military resume, which is our ERB, right? By the time I got to the National Guard, it was a culture shock for me because I didn't see any black leadership. It was everybody who was a leader was all white. And there's nothing wrong with that, right? And it was only one black leader there, and I specifically went to him. Where's that black leader?
That was my guy. That was Phoenix Hill's very own Sergeant Weathers. Yes, sir.
No, I wasn't talking about Weathers.
Oh.
Who you
I was talking about Sergeant Sampson.
Oh, that was my first.
I didn't meet Sergeant Weathers yet.
Oh, okay.
I didn't meet Sergeant Weathers yet.
All right.
Soon as I got to the unit, as soon as I got to the unit, Sergeant Sampson was the only black leader in the unit, meaning E6 or above. Right? There was a few E5s, mainly females.
Right.
But I asked him, I said, yo, why ain't none of these, is all these black men in this, why ain't none of these people promoted? Why ain't none been sought? He gave me his reason why, which I'm not going to disclose, right? But that wasn't, that I didn't like that. I didn't like the way that it made me feel. So as I continue to be embedded and learn that the National Guard way of being, it was still an uneasy feeling for me. Right? So I was new to the Army. It was a culture. I was new to the National Guard. It was a culture shock for me. And then we had AT.
That was my first AT.
What happened?
That was my first AT
AT?
in the Army. Yo.
Was I wasn't there.
The AT was crazy.
That was my first AT.
Was it at the gap?
Yeah. So the AT was really, it was
That was 2017, right?
because that's when all y'all came.
2017.
That was 2017. That was my first.
2016.
I joined 2016. I came back.
I'm gonna
March,
play.
March of 2017.
And I heard of that.
2017.
Because
That was my first AT.
I thought it was sort of 16.
That was 2017.
2017.
That was
We
my
had the big.
first
He wasn't here.
AT ever in the National Guard.
Well, whatever AT it was, that was my first AT as well.
It was lit.
It was.
It was lit.
It was a lot.
Trying to get me out of here, man.
It was a lot. It was a lot that
Going
was
there.
going on.
That was hard to get me out there.
But
But I'm gonna say that I was very appreciative of the soldiers who were there, you, Snell, Tompkins, all of you new guys who came, because I said I can't change the culture of the soldiers that was there 10 years prior,
Yeah.
but because I got this whole group of new soldiers, man,
Got the
I
new
need
ones
to be
coming.
the
Yep.
best that I can be with them, right?
Yep.
And it wasn't no love lost to the people that was already there. It was like, I
Right.
can only do what I can, right?
Yep.
So I feel like God gave me y'all, man.
I hear that.
Yeah,
See why I said we appreciate
Appreciate because the stands 10 toes on her. Aaron, what it was.
And you would think our first interaction was with somebody that was getting rowdy over. I think it was you and who was it? I think it was me, Bane, and y'all had. It was a situation with somebody, and y'all was saying something, and then another sergeant came out of nowhere and was like something was going on, and then y'all stepped in and said something like, "I'm talking to my soldiers."
Yeah, that's exactly what I said.
That was literally my first interaction. I ain't know Sergeant Coop.
I remember that.
I ain't know for a can of paint, but whoever I don't remember who the sergeant was either. But I know for a fact they was, you know how people get when they get their rank on.
Yeah.
They try to boast a little bit, show off a little bit.
He was like, no.
And it wasn't called for, honestly. But me being a new soldier, I was like, what is going on here? I'm gonna go ahead and mind my business and let the SEOs handle they little mix. And I know Sergeant Meebang told me a little bit later on
about what kind of
what transpired.
So we was at Oshkosh training. That's where we was at.
Yes.
Right. We was learning about the LHSs, the PLSs, and it was a soldier that was having some issues at home, and they started the training, and I was I had the soldier to the side and I was having the conversation with the soldier because the soldier was not at his best, right? And y'all was squared away, man. Like y'all was squared away. That just showed
That was that fresh out of basic training.
that was in their element. They all was squared away, right?
Nice.
And he was acting different. So I said, let me go and talk to him because something ain't right. And come to find out, I think his dad was really, really sick or something like that. So the sergeant that was in another unit was like, get over here. We got training. And I straight looked at him and I said, yo, bro, did you like can you extend into your courtesy? You get what I'm saying? Like, come on, you see me over here having a conversation with a soldier. We ain't over here pussyfoot.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? Like, we over here, I'm trying to handle a soldier, right? So after I said what I said to him, listen, I know regulation. I know Army regulation. I know how to be tactful, right? So it's one of those things where I'm not going to disrespect you, but you're not going to disrespect me.
Right.
So I'm going to put regulation on you, and you can like what a commander can do is add to the regulation, but he can't take away from it, right?
that.
So you can't take away from the regulation. So after I said what I said to him, they was all on the phone. Every like that whole crew that was on their phone. I said, I know they got to be calling the first sergeant. They got to be calling Heisey. That's because they all know each other. Right. You know what I'm saying? So the thing is, I've been peeping, right? I'm a soldier. I'm a military soldier. I know how to do my recon. Right. I know how to pay attention to what's going on in my surroundings. Right. I know that all of y'all are tight. You get what I'm saying? So that's who they were calling.
When you were the outsider for a fact.
And even though I respected my leadership, I didn't care. Right, because I didn't do anything wrong.
Right.
So, and it was an incident that happened earlier that day before we even went to the training. So, and that's when I was introduced to Sergeant Weathers because he was our acting platoon sergeant. Right. He was squared away because he would just pop out of the blue and actually random
question.
Yeah, all the time. You only get to
He was on your P's and Q's for a fact.
So, you know, when we got back from the training, he came to me, he said, Cooper, your name is running there, man. He said, you're killing me. I said, no, you are allowing them to kill you, Sergeant. With all due respect, like, come on, man. First and foremost, I'm looking at your rank, and I know you've been in the Army longer than all of them, so why are you only at E7?
Right.
No disrespect.
Right.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Right. So me and him having a conversation, and I hear, like, footsteps, like, banging, boom, 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 like, coming towards the barracks room.
Right.
And I look out the, like, little raggedy shades of the barracks, and it's First Sergeant Heisey. I thought the thing, he's a Master Sergeant. I mean,
he's Sergeant Major.
Sergeant Major. Yep. So, not a Master Sergeant, he's a Command Sergeant Major now. So, I hear him like walking through the grass and coming up to you. Like I can hear it. So he wanted all the smoke, right? Like, yes. So before he even stepped foot into the barracks, I got a parade rest, right? And he came in and he walked over to me and he wasn't really disrespectful, but I can tell that he was a little irritated, right? And he was like, I just want to know what happened. And I said, I said, well, what is it that you want to know, First Sergeant? He said, they said you could call them all types of MRFers. And I said, with all due respect, I wanted to call them that. I wanted to call them all types of MRF.
But I didn't.
From the money, MNF, the business.
Right.
I said, but I had to understand that I have to be respectful of myself, but I also have to be respectful of this unit. Right. And I know how to make a tactful on-the-spot correction. I would never disrespect this unit like that. Right. Even if I wanted to do it, I know how to be professional. You know what I'm saying? Did you see my ERB? Right. First Sergeant, do you know who I am? Right. Did you do your research on me as a soldier before I came to your unit? And understand that I didn't do all this military education to get this far being disrespectful. Right. Right? I know that I'm from Philly, and I know that y'all
come out somebody.
The pillar of the Philly, but I'm not that dude no more. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna have respect not only for me, but for this unit as well. Right? So, and I said I didn't do that. I didn't say that. I wanted to. I did. I wanted to fight. But I didn't take it that far. I utilized the NCO courtesies to the other NCOs, and I was tactful, and I didn't go against regulation.
All right.
Right.
That right there, what you're saying, like that, knowing how to carry yourself, I'm gonna say that's the one thing that stood out the most to me as far as like I can say Sergeant Young, I can say you, like y'all are the forefront of with me. If I talk about Tompkins, Snell, my guys who then been with me through y'all leadership, like the one thing that you can that I can stand on and say today that you told us was know your regulation.
Right.
No, he said it all the time.
And if nothing else, regulation is gonna cover you every single time.
Right.
And nobody can go against, like you said, the regulation.
And take care of your people. Take care of your people.
And that part.
Like, put your soldiers before you. Treat
Yeah.
your soldiers like you would treat your own children at the end of the day, right? Because one day you're going to have soldiers of your own, right? And you won't want them to, you want to treat them the way you want to be treated.
Right.
So that's how we become successful in the Army. What is the Army's definition of leadership?
Right.
Getting the soldiers to do exactly what needs to be done, accomplishing a mission.
Yep.
Paraphrase, but exactly word for word verbatim.
Right.
Not, right? So how do you do that? You do that by being somebody who they want to be like, right? You do that by like subsiding your own emotions, having that emotional intelligence, right? Because you got to have emotional intelligence to be in the Army anyway.
Yeah.
Even if you're not dealing with people within your unit, you got to go out there and deal with the enemy at the end of the day.
Yeah. That's a fact.
So you got to make sure how you got to keep it closer. So the goal for real is to make sure you get your soldiers back home, right? Keep their mental straight, right? They should want to follow you, and that's just not military. That's just life. Here.
Yeah, that's a fact.
You know what I'm saying?
That's a fact.
So if you exercise that just with life, then you will be great. You'll be good. So, yeah.
So as we walk through, walk through that beginning stages of you transitioning to that National Guard life, because like you said, you always hear, you know, going from active duty and coming into the Guard is a complete change. I'm glad you was able to share that, because I mean, everybody say the exact same thing. Like, what did they walk into? Like, what am I walking into joining the Guard? Now, on that note though, like further in your career, I mean, what all have you gotten? You know, you got to see, got to experience. Because I mean, at one point, I was under you, because I was under what's his name, Samson at one point. Then I got underneath you. Then I transitioned to Sergeant Young. But I mean, just seeing, because you weren't you went through what, E1 through E4 or E1 through E6, so you came into the Guard as a 6.
I was gonna say.
No. So what happened was I got promoted to E5 very, very fast when I was active duty.
Okay.
Right. I went to the board and I killed it. Like my sergeant major, because when you had to present yourself to a board when you get promoted from E4 to E5.
That's one thing we don't do.
For a board.
We don't do
So
that.
you have to stand in front of all of the first sergeants in the battalion, plus the sergeant major, right? And then they ask you all these military regulations and questions. And if you do great, then you
move on.
pass. So if your points match with the promotion for the next month, then you get promoted, right? And before I PCS from Bragg, I got orders to go to Korea, right? Because Korea is kind of considered like a mini deployment. So I got orders to go to Korea, but before I got my orders, my command sergeant major, he went to my first sergeant, he said, I want to send him to the Soldier of the Year board. I want y'all to prep him for all those boards. And I was in preparation for the boards, but I never made it to the Soldier of the Year board because I already had PCS. But understand that even if you are a National Guard soldier, you need to be able to present yourself to a board. Right? Meaning, that's why I always told you guys to understand the regulation, right? Because that's Army doctrine. It doesn't matter about what nobody says. It doesn't matter what your leadership says. That's the Army doctrine. You can't beat that, right? So I got promoted to E5 in like 2 years.
Okay.
Right? Which is not really considered fast tracking. That's typically like,
That's still good.
but it's still faster than the typical.
That's
You know what I'm saying? So what is it, 18 months before you get a specialist? Right? So you got 18 months before you become a specialist, and then that's a year and a half. And then on that 2 year mark, you get sergeant. That's really, really good.
Saying that you start off as an E1 though.
Yeah.
That's what saying is, because like some people can come in as an E4, but you saying as you came in as an E1 and you went through the ranks of, you know, private first, PV2s to PFC to specialist, that you walked your way through that. And what people don't know is that, you know, there is a time limit on, you know, what you were mentioning. There's a time limit on when you can get promoted. So
And you gotta go to the school.
Time and grade, time and rank, right? So basically what you're saying, being high speed as you are, that the reason that you got promoted as fast as you did is because of the time, because of all the things that you accomplished, or all the things, or the people seeing, you know, your growth, or seeing your what's the word I'm looking for? Just seeing just seeing something in you that would say that this person needs to be an NCO or be a sergeant at this time in his speed.
So I didn't come into the Army high speed, man.
I mean, you,
No,
I don't think not many people do. It's if you get a certain.
Huh?
You had to degree?
Not at the time.
Okay. All right.
So remember, I was a private, and I was going to school while I was active duty.
Okay.
I didn't get my degree until I got to Philly, back to Philly.
Oh, okay.
Because when I came to Philly, I finished my degree.
Okay.
Right. So, but I wasn't never really into trouble, but I wasn't completely squared away.
Right.
I needed that leadership to help me become squared. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I wasn't always a good runner. I wasn't supposed to be nobody goddamn bearer, man. You get what I'm saying? But because I was pushed, because I was trained, it taught me how to be squared away. You get what I'm saying? So I believe that's a little bit of what the National Guard lacks is that just that leadership. I think people is more selfish and focused on their own individual careers instead of focusing on like taking what you got and putting it and embedding it in the soldiers. And here's the thing. It's not for nothing. It's because y'all don't do this every day. The National Guard don't do it every day.
One
like
week in a
you
month.
do it 1 week in a month, 2 weeks in the summer. Then you go off and you do your own jobs. You know what I'm saying? So it's not as easy.
Right.
This is something that you have to be intentional with.
Yeah.
Right? You have to be intentional with. So when I came to the National Guard, I was already E5 promotable.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
So I had those hiccups with the unit. I did. I had those hiccups with the unit. I think I left a pretty sour taste in their mouth. I'm not gonna say bad taste because sour tastes good to some, right? So for the people who liked sour, they understood who I was, and the people who didn't like that sour taste, they just like blah whatever. But when I started my catering company and I was in school and I got on that first show, and that first Food Network show, Cooks versus Cons, and I won, that's when I start receiving more leniency from the company, right?
Makes sense.
So
So do you feel like that it was there's some way somebody feel like they could gain from what you was doing on the outside, that's why you were getting a little bit more
They probably looked at him
in the
different.
inside?
no, I believe that they looked at me like I wasn't the typical black guy.
Right. That's what I was saying. They probably looked at you
You
different.
get what I'm saying? Like, you gotta call it what it is, right?
Right.
That might not have been the case, right? Listen, we're not saying that this is true by anybody, right? We want to make sure we reiterate that. But this is how it looks, right? You're not like the typical black guy.
That come in with the attitude, with the
Figure stuff in me.
Yeah, so do it make it right? No, it doesn't make it right. But that's what I felt like it was, right? So I got on the show, and I won the show, and then I went straight to what was it, ALC. Soon as I won, right? But it was my time to go anyway. It was my time to go anyway. I was supposed to have been had with. I was supposed to go to ALC before I even left JBLM. Right. But because I already transitioned, you know, it was my time. So I went to ALC, and then I got promoted as soon as I graduated. Right. So we had when I did the catering for the first catering.
first Christmas party, right?
Yeah, that one was smooth. Everything was serious selling. It's just we ain't had no problems.
Yeah, I remember that.
It wasn't no problem there. Everything was great with that first catering, and I got promoted at that party.
Yeah,
right?
I remember.
Yeah.
And it was a good time for me. And I was like, and that's when Sergeant Young came. You get what I'm saying? And it was something about Sergeant Young. Sergeant Young was in the military, I believe, 18 years at that time, right? So
18 years.
I think it was like maybe 17, like he was already in the military for a long time.
Learn something new.
Yeah, because I only thought he was in the military maybe a few more years before you. I didn't think he was that long.
So Young was actually in the military longer than I am. So right now, if I was still in the military, it would be almost 16. It'd be 15 years. Me and you got like the same amount of time in Brady.
Yeah, I have 14 years.
Yeah, so it'd be 15 years. I think Sergeant Young is probably at 20 years now, if I'm not mistaken, right? So you got to make sure you ask him that. This is not. I'm just trying to think about it based upon what I know, right? So he was in the military before me, but Sergeant Young was a Cav Scout. Sergeant Young had a lot of deployment. Sergeant Young had a lot of
He came there with
active duty.
It was this.
It wasn't even when I saw Sergeant Young, I just knew it was more so what he held in his spirit, right?
Right.
That was like, okay, this dude no military, right? So that's what kind of gravitated me towards him because I felt like it was very familiar, right? It was like, yo, this dude, he's been in the army for a while. Like, he had some, and the thing is, he was Cav Scout. He was one of the bulls who was in the woods looking at, you get what I'm saying? You know,
We did a training. He was like, "Now let it."
Right. And the thing that runs through the woods was the
that's
step.
who I supported. That's who I
Yeah.
supported. So I supported infantry. I was in second infantry division, right? I supported second infantry division. We was in the field with them all the time. I was the one handling all their ammunition, all their rockets, all everything. They fit rounds, all of that, right?
Okay.
So I understand what it feels like to be with combat all the time. You know what I'm saying? And he just had that.
Right.
I didn't really like distraught. That wasn't a part of who I was in the military. It was mainly support, even though technically everything is support of
In some way, somehow.
right. The thing is, when you in distro, all you do is drive no matter what.
Right.
Whereas when you support, you do everything with your combat,
Right.
with your combat tool. That makes sense.
Okay.
So, yeah, man. So he came, I got promoted, and then everything just started kind of falling in place with me with my culinary career. My first year of starting my catering company, I did absolutely amazing. I got on the show. I won a show. I was valedictorian of my culinary school. I got my degree. You get what I'm saying?
So let's talk about you because you said the school. So what school you went to first? Let's get on that path.
I went to the J&A Institute of Culinary Arts.
Where's that at?
It's South Philadelphia.
Okay.
Right? I went there. I was actually doing my recon. I'm talking military talk. Before I left, so a recon is like you basically checking out the scene before you get there, for the people who don't know, right? So before I actually got out of active duty, I was already searching and looking for a culinary school to go to.
Yep.
Specifically like to get your degree, not like a certificate program.
Right.
So I checked out all the schools in Philly, and that's the one that I chose. And I went to school, got my degree, graduated at the top of my class, started a catering company, got on my first show.
What's that catering company? Just for the people that want
Succulent Imagination.
Succulent.
All right. You have it.
Okay.
Imagination.
Okay.
Yeah, so succulentimagination.com, SUCCULENT imagination.com, or you can check me out at Sif Steve on Instagram.
Okay.
Since we got that out of the way.
Yeah.
Right?
We was gonna let you do that. We always do that. But you want
I mean, you asked, man. I make sure I don't forget. Right? So listen, when you get the opportunity, listen, when the door come knocking, you better let them in.
Yeah. No, I hear
So
that.
that's what it is. So I got to give it to them when I like the opportunity.
I feel that.
Right? So, it was the first year was amazing for me, and I believe, I love God, if y'all don't know that. I love God, and that don't mean that I'm perfect and that I want to be perfect and that I'm holier than thou, right? It's about my own personal relationship with God. I'm not going to sit up here and say, oh, you can't do that.
Right.
Right? Well, I'm not like that, right? But so I feel like God knows who I am. He knew that if I didn't do good within that first year, I probably would have gave up on my career. And when he said, I'm going back active, right?
Okay.
So that first year, I did so well in my catering company that's kind of unusual in business, because it's kind of like you got to go through those trials and tribulations and keep going and keep pushing before you get to that next level, right?
Right.
But for me, that first year was popping, man.
That's what's up.
I won a show. My catering company was popping.
God wanted you to stick to it. Yep.
Right.
You know what I mean? And like that first year and a half, almost 2 years, it was really, really good. And then that's when I got hit, right? But by that time, I was already knee deep, so I couldn't let it go. I couldn't give it up. So I won a show. I got on a cater. I started my catering company. Won a show. Got on another show.
What's that show called?
That show was in Canada.
Okay.
It's called Fire Masters. And it
I
was,
was like,
Dang, you
I
were
remember
okay.
I can't remember when you went.
yeah, it was a Food Network Canada show, so it didn't air in the States.
Okay.
Right.
Now they do have it on streaming, I believe, on like the cookingchannel.com.
Okay.
But it wasn't aired in the States because it's a Canadian show.
Okay.
Right. And after I won Cooks vs. Cons, I went to this networking event. And y'all know I'm pretty much quiet, right? I don't really say much unless I need to say it, I need to speak.
Right.
And I was talking to this lady, and she was like, so what do you do? And I kind of just ran down what I did. She said, you too humble. You need to start popping your poop.
Yeah.
Y'all know what I mean? You need to start popping. You need to start popping. So I went to this show in Canada, and I was a little bit more cockier than I normally am, right? And they all like, who gonna win? I'm like, I'm gonna win. Like I was so hyped, and I ended up losing.
Oh.
So that is a testament to don't ever not be yourself.
Be you.
I was about to say, she said you were too humble. That's fine. Continue to be humble.
Continue to be humble, right?
Yeah.
That's really who I am, right?
Right.
I believe that I'm the type of guy that I don't have the room to be cocky because I feel like, and this is respectfully, right? But and also from what people tell me, I feel like I already fill up a room, even in my quietness. right? And when I open my mouth, my voice is it carries, right? It's okay for me to allow my time to come.
Right.
Yeah,
So
no,
when you speak to me, it's okay for me to wait until you actually speak to me before I start speaking, because I'm going to carry the room.
Well, first of all, the voice alone,
Regardless.
yeah,
Personality, voice, everything.
Yeah.
It's a fact.
So I think it's a good balance. It's okay for me to be humble. I don't be like that wouldn't be a good look for me.
Yeah,
if I was
definitely
cocky and
Yeah.
all the stuff that God already gave me, that'd be too much. Like
Right.
sometimes we can be too much, right?
Yeah.
Even in our own personal selves, we can be
Right.
too much. So why should I force myself to be even more too much? I shouldn't do that. So that's what I did. I was out there and I was too much, and I was flipping the spatula. Listen, I don't even play. I don't play no football, no nothing. I flipped the spatula quarter, but and they was like, the producers like, we're loving this energy. And then I
like stuff like
ended up going home. Right? And it wasn't because my food wasn't good. It was more so because I didn't pay attention to the game because I was so focused on being cocky.
Right.
Right? And I was distraught by that. And I was pointing the finger, right? But when in all actuality, it was my fault, but it was also a lesson that I needed to learn.
Right.
Moment. Don't ever not be yourself, right? It's okay for you to unequivocally be who you are, right? So I learned that lesson there, and then it was a short hiatus after that. It was not a short hiatus. It was a pretty long hiatus after that, because we transitioned into something that was crazy. It was COVID,
Yeah. COVID.
right?
Ooh.
So
It became
imagine.
difficult.
So, but real quick, even before COVID happened, I still had to get a job, because remember I was telling you guys, I started my business in 2016, right?
Mm-hmm.
I was good for the first year and a half.
Right.
I literally had to go and get a job. So I was working, right?
Right.
I was the executive chef at Discover Card Services in Newcastle, Delaware, right? It was a contracted position, and I loved it, man. I loved it because that was I had a lot of leadership positions even before I joined the military, but this was my first position outside of my catering company where I was the executive chef. Now, I did a lot of line work. I did line cooking. I worked even as leadership on the line, but I was never an executive chef for another organization.
So you feel like, because like just hearing it, do you feel like in some way everything that you've been through, like with, you say your military life, it plays a huge role in your civilian life. Do you feel like in that case, do you feel like any of that would help you be, more successful in your cooking life? Like, as far as, like you're saying, you was, in a manager role most of the time, a line chef most of the time. How was that able to mangle together?
I was gonna say, if you take the military life out, do you think you would be right where you are today?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
So I feel like what the military has given me was, first and foremost, discipline, right?
Yeah.
Discipline to kind of get up and just do the right thing, right? But not only discipline, it also gave me the confidence as well, right? So a lot of times we lack confidence. We act like we don't, but we do, right? And people who's normally very confident, and you see the confidence off
It's not that confident.
they really are. They really lack confidence, right? So I lack a lot of confidence, right? I lack confidence not because I didn't think that I could do it. I lack confidence because I felt different. You know what I mean? Like I didn't feel like I was like everybody else. I felt like I was, God, why you make me this way? Why you make me just stand out in this, you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, right.
Like, remember when I first got introduced to the unit, I didn't want to talk. I didn't want to.
It was like Sergeant Cooper.
Everybody turn around like,
Yo,
who is that?
it shook the room, boy.
To be honest, that was my first
And
impression.
to be honest, I don't really like that kind of attention, right? I like people to kind of get to know me from within first before they get to know me from the outside.
Well, we definitely wanted to get to know you. Like, who's that guy? Who's that guy with the deep voice?
But this is authentic. Is just like going crazy.
Here, Sergeant First.
She said to that all it.
So, God, you sweated how they only fly like that. And I'm right behind the ear. So it's one of those things where I did lack confidence, right? But I also lack discipline as well. Like the type of discipline you need to become successful, especially as a black man in society coming from Philadelphia, right?
Right.
Philly if you black from Philly, bro, you most likely grew up in the hood.
Brad, beef.
You grew up in
Right.
You see what I'm saying? It's not like you grew up in Houston, Atlanta, Vegas, where you see a lot of successful black people. It's embedded in the culture. Like we grew up where we watched people be on drugs all crazy. It was rough. It was the majority of our parents was on welfare. You know what I'm saying? So we got to understand that we come from something different, but sometimes, not sometimes, you can make that something beautiful. And I tell people all the time, it's really not about where you come from, it's about where you're going. But your steps need to be ordered, right? And when your steps are ordered, you have to make sure you take those steps, right? So when doors come, when doors open, walk through the door. Walk through the door. And know how to walk through the right doors as well, right? So, yeah, so I had to get a job, man. So yes, me becoming an executive chef at Discover Car Services was amazing for me because it taught me how to cater at an even higher level, right? So I was catering for groups of 1,200 people, right, at a time. I was cooking for 900 people a day. You know what I mean? I was learning the systems of being an executive chef, like the ordering systems. I was learning profit and loss and the percentages, you know, based around payroll, paper costs, paper goods. So I was learning the actual physical job of being an executive chef. And I was cooking for a large amount of people, right? So I was a working chef. I was a working executive chef because typically by the time you get to the executive chef position, you're not cooking anymore. You're just doing all the paperwork, right? So for me, I was cooking and I was doing all the paperwork. And I had a small team, like people who would work the deli and work the grills and stuff like that. But the bulk of the work was on me, right? And I loved it. So then...
Right in your element.
Yeah, in my element. And then I left.
How you transition? That's the one question that's going through. How did you go from? First of all, how did you even go from being a truck driver to a chef? Like, what made you go from? Like, what in you said, "This is my passion"? Not because most people get trapped in their military life. Most people choose their military job, and that's their job. That's their civilian job. That's their military job, and that's their job. How did you go from? Like, what in you said, you know what? First of all, we got into this. I'm a truck driver, and now you a chef. How does that? That don't correlate at all. How you get there?
He said he not like most people.
Yeah, I get that, but like, how did you get to that point where you like, you knew this is what you wanted to do as far as being a chef, like cooking and.
Has it always been a passion of yours?
Absolutely, but I need to say this first before I forget. I was never ever a truck driver.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no.
I was never a truck driver, right? I might have been a truck driver on paper, but internally I was never a truck.
Okay.
I never liked trucks. Think I like PMCS? No, you think?
I don't think nobody do.
You think I want a grand guy? Now listen. I was good at it, right? I was good at it, but that wasn't never who I was. It's never who I was. It was one of those things where I've been cooking since I was 9 years old, man. Some people know this, some people don't. It was a big tub of peanut butter on my mom's counter that we got probably from a church. It was a 10 can of peanut butter. It collected dust. It was sat there for a long time. I asked my mom if I use the peanut butter. She said, yeah, use the peanut butter. I made peanut butter cookies every damn day, right? I was 9 years old. I'll be 41 in August 17th, right?
Hey.
Listen, you know what's crazy? My mom still to this day don't eat peanut butter cookies. She said, I don't want to near another peanut butter cookie.
Peanut butter cookie.
She said to me, she said, son, just go in the kitchen and use whatever we got and just start experiment with whatever we got. So she gave me the free will to just go in the kitchen and experiment whatever we got. And another thing about me is that I love food culture. I love cultural food. So even as I transitioned from a kid into a teenager, I would go into cultural markets and experiment with different ingredients. I will associate myself with people of different cultures so I can learn how to cook their food. And then I have Puerto Ricans in my family as well. So it's like I was already used to soul food and Spanish food, right? I mean, and then it was Jamaicans who lived across the street. I lived in Huntington Park, which is a predominantly mixed community, right? So I was always like highly into food culture. That's always been what I love. It's always been what I breathe. Typically us as the African Americans, we only stick to what we know. We don't really experiment with food. Me, I was never like that. And that's another add-on to why I always felt different. Because I always was very inclusive. You get what I'm saying? I didn't want to make people feel excluded. So I would be, I want to try that. You know the name of the day. but then you be afraid to say it because
Right.
you disrespect
your
nobody.
folks might be
Yeah.
like, well, why are you eating that?
Right,
That-
right,
you know
right,
what I'm saying? So, but I always been very inclusive. I always wanted to know about food culture, even when I travel in my military career and outside of my military career. It's always about the food first for me.
Mm.
You get what I'm saying? Because I get to learn, right? So I'm the type of guy where if you invite me into your home and I try your food, I'm gonna ask you a few questions and then I'm gonna go and reinvent it. So what people don't understand is that my whole concept is putting a soulful twist on a worldwide cuisine.
Okay.
I like to add my own culture and put it on a worldwide cuisine, and that's actually how I win those shows.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? Like if you actually watch the shows that I've been on, I cook different food. You get what I'm saying? I always cook in a way where I'm introducing people or their palates to something different,
Okay.
right? And that's what causes me to stand out. And that's how I win, man.
That's what's up. That's what's up. That's what's up.
You know what I mean? So I've been cooking all my life, right? Yes, the military wasn't about the career itself.
Okay.
It was about the discipline and it was about the confidence,
Okay.
right? The ability to speak, right? That's what the military taught me how to speak, right? And in front of a group of people, right? You got to speak to your soldiers.
Exactly.
You got to
Right.
speak to your platoon.
Yes.
Sometimes you got to speak to battalion.
Correct.
Right? That's what the military taught me how to do. I didn't have those things, right? So what God does in your life is he take you through different phases so that you can bloom, right? If you don't bloom, then you won't be able to utilize what he gave you, right? And a lot of us, we die before we use everything that God has given us. I don't want to be that guy, right? So I want to make sure that I utilize everything that God has given me and to be open to taking those steps, right? Whatever, however it look, right? So I didn't like driving trucks, but what I got out of it was something special. It helped me to bloom, if that makes sense.
That's what's
All
up.
right.
That's what's up. So now since we on the topic of your cooking career, I know you hitting on it, you touching on a little bit about all the shows that you've been on. So just let the people know, as far as how many shows have you been on so far with your cooking career outside of you? Well, first of all, before we even get to that, your service when was the last day that you got out? Your last time of serving, and what happened after that service period that pushed you to where you are right now?
I think my last day of service was January 16th, 2022.
My birthday.
I was gonna say.
January 16th. Yeah.
But you didn't get your 20 years.
No, I didn't.
Okay.
I didn't.
It was
When I
close.
got out, I was only at 13 years when I got out. 13,
And some
yeah,
change.
like there are 13 years when I got out.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
So I didn't get 20 years, and I'm sitting up here now like it's 2025, and it'd be almost
You would have had your 20 years almost.
almost,
Yeah.
right? But it's like sometimes you gotta when it's time to let go, you let
That's
go.
what I was gonna ask. So why did you just? Because most people push that 20 years on you. Like, I mean, you know, you at the
I'm at
point.
14 years and I'm here right
They,
now.
they was trying to promote me to stay in and stuff like that. And I said, but this should have gave you enough promotion when I was on the list.
Whoever he putting at.
No, that's a fact. I literally said I called you that the day I saw the list, right before when it came out. I was like, hey, Sergeant Coop, you know that you like, I think it was like number 1 on the list or number 2.
told me that song was something
Yeah,
that as
I was
well,
like,
man.
yo, this is perfect for you to stay in. We definitely need it, like you said.
The thing is, I wasn't all the way out yet. You give it
And then you pushed the.
So here's the thing. I didn't understand the promotion system in the National Guard like I did in
Active.
active duty. Like I had access to the list. I had access to the point system.
Wrong guy, actually.
Right.
Somebody
So,
pushes it
so
out.
it was like I didn't know. It was something. It was still some things that I was just oblivious to in the National Guard, right? So I wasn't tripping about the list. I wasn't even tripping about getting E7 at
Right.
the time. I wasn't like, oh, I want E7. I want E7. To be completely honest, I thought Young would have got promoted before me, right?
Right.
Because I don't know the dynamics of the National Guard, right? So regardless of who got promoted, I wasn't tripping about it.
Right.
So, but what happened was when I found out that I was on the list and nobody told me that I was number 1 on the list,
Right.
that's what made me say, you know what, I got to get out of here.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? Because that's corny to me,
Right.
right? Like, I don't care if you my soldier, if you my homie, if you my sis. If somebody that I don't know deserved the spot before you,
Right.
I'm giving it to them.
Right.
Because why would I give something to you based upon proximity? It's not your time.
Right.
Right? So if I force something, that means I'm forcing God's hand, bro. It's not your time. everything is in order.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? And I'm not being shady to nobody. I'm just saying, I'm just speaking straight facts at the end of the day.
When it's found out you was number one on the list, did you think about coming back or?
I was perplexed.
Yeah, I remember a conversation. I was like, "Yo,
I didn't know.
please."
I didn't know. So when I found out that I was number one on the list, I was just like, I thought about it. I think I talked to Bane about it, like briefly. And I was just, he was like, yeah, bro, you was on the list. And you know, Bane was 82nd Airborne. You ain't actually in the BCTs. Like,
Yeah,
it was, he jumped out of plane.
Yeah.
Like, Bane is squared away, like
Yeah.
squared completely away. One thing that man know is Army.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So and then he came to the National Guard and he figured out the system of the National Guard.
That's
So
right,
not
yeah.
only did he know active, he knew National Guard lingo as well.
Right.
So when I was told that I was on a list, I'm not going to say I was a little perplexed, but I wasn't surprised, right? So and E7 is not just getting promoted to E5 or E6, right?
Yeah.
E7 is like, okay, is this gonna be a hiccup within the game that we got going on now? Is it gonna?
We gonna go there.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
We
but
gonna
you
go
could
there.
have changed things if you took that.
I know, but the thing is that my time was up as well, right?
Right.
Because it's also just one of those things where it's just like you got because by that time y'all was already E6s, y'all was already like the E5s
Coming up,
Like
yeah.
it was so many like soldiers of a color that was promoted.
Right.
It was a totally different unit
Right.
when I had left. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I'm not going to say that it was all on me. It's not on me. I don't take credit for any of it. I give God the credit for it. But it's one of those things where it's like, bro, your job is done. And sometimes when your job is done, you have to know that your job is done and keep it moving.
Okay.
So you won't hinder what else God has for you next. Understand this. Remember, my wife was going through breast cancer. My sister died. I was filming a whole show.
Right.
You get what I'm saying?
A lot going on.
So how can I give and pour a lot of myself into the military if I right now in this season of my life I gotta pour into these areas of my life?
Right.
You get what I'm saying? So it's like sometimes when your season is up, your season is up, right? And they said, listen, they said when I was telling them that I was getting out and before y'all went on deployment, they did reach out and they say, hey, you know, you did come up on E7. Do you want to accept it? I said, unfortunately, no. Right? Because I came up on E7 the year before.
Why you ain't ask me then?
You get what I'm saying? Like it was a lot of time that had already passed.
That's right. That you could have had that already.
That I already had that happen. And the thing is, that happened for a reason.
Right.
Because if it would have happened at that time, then I probably would have took it and would have still been gave it to the unit.
Not that, and that's
You
for the parental.
But you got for parental, which you can't. I'm not an octopus.
Right. That's right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So by the time it wasn't because I was shady, I was salty because of that. I was just like, no, I got other things going on, man.
Right.
I got to focus on a lot of other things, you know, in my life. You know what I'm saying? So, and that's why I didn't take it.
And to get into them other things in your life. So at that time of you transitioning out, so now we out, right? Now we walking this story.
man.
We out. So now the first thing was this big show. At the it was at the chicken guy, right?
God's sense of a lifetime.
There we go.
Okay.
God's sense of a lifetime.
Yeah.
And so now walk us through that you getting out, you transition out, and now this the first thing we all saw because we all supporters of a Sergeant Coop. We all know what's going on. We all seeing it. So now walk us through that part.
And let me just say, I was super excited. I was like, oh.
I did that. Look at this sitting right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Chance of a Lifetime was crazy because I actually filmed that show while I was still in active. Right? Remember, I didn't get out until 2022.
Okay.
I got out January 16, 2022. The show didn't air until February of 2022.
Okay.
Right? So I filmed in 2021, the summer of 2021.
Okay.
And it was cool, man. It was a lot of stuff going on. A lot of people don't know is I actually was, before I casted for that show, I was casting for a Netflix show.
Okay.
And I really wanted to get on Netflix so bad because of the streaming, everybody streaming, right? And then Chance of a Lifetime hit me up and was like, yo, we want you for the show. Do you want to apply? And I said, all right, I'll apply. But what happens is you can't cast the two different networks at the same time.
Okay.
Right? So you only could cast for one. So I ended up, before I finished the casting process for Netflix, Chance of a Lifetime had already said, we want you.
Okay.
He's like, so do you want to move forward?
Right.
So I had to pick one. So I said, you know what? Yeah, I'm gonna pick this one. I remember again, my wife was going through breast cancer.
So that was a hard decision.
It was a lot going on, man. It was a lot going on. But she's, you know, she dogged it.
Facts.
Like she dogged it.
Shout out to her. And that,
Yeah, so
get through that.
yeah, so and then when I got on the show during filming, my sister ended up dying. She got hit by a car on Broad Street, right? So it was a lot going on. It was a lot of things going on, but I still came out victorious
As a winner.
at the end, man. I still came out victorious at the end. So yeah, I won that show, and in 2022, I ended up showing the world that I won that show.
Okay.
So winning the show in 2022, what came with that? Like, so a check. Like what else came with it?
So you know what? A check could have came with it,
Okay.
right? A check definitely could have came with it, according to my contract. Then,
Okay.
if you didn't want the restaurant, so basically the gist of the show was you will win a restaurant.
Okay.
You will win a franchise.
Okay.
Right. So it was a Celebrity Chef's franchise. One of his restaurants that you will win, and you will become a franchisee.
Okay.
Okay.
But if you didn't want the restaurant, you could have took $50K, right? That was a part of the deal with the on the contract.
Right.
$50K wasn't going to do it for me.
Okay.
Wouldn't have did it for me neither.
You know what I mean?
You
Like
made the right decision.
$50K wouldn't have did it for me only because nothing is better than network,
Right.
right? So if you are in this element with all these restaurateurs who have
Right.
all of these restaurants, they can teach you how to grow,
Right.
become bigger and better, right? So for me, it wasn't even about just the restaurant. It was about the network.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So if I would have took this $50,000, it would have only taken me as far as I can go,
Right.
Right.
as my mind can go. You get what I'm saying? Money or knowledge.
Right.
Knowledge.
We always, at some point, you always need somebody to help you get to the next,
So
next level.
Which one?
Knowledge, for sure.
Yeah, no, I
I'm
feel
saying, I'm like, that $50K, that joint.
Burn sweet. About 2 weeks. Not even.
2 weeks is crazy, bro.
God, sweet could have gone.
But the thing is, it is easy. All you gotta do is do one thing and it's done.
Right.
It's
No,
just-
that's a fact. No, that's a fact.
so it was just like I already knew what it felt like to put more than that in my catering business. I already was caterer, so it was like
Right.
I don't want that, right?
Right.
So I chose the restaurant.
Okay. So now where we at now? Walk us. So you got the restaurant. You setting up for the restaurant. They give you. I don't know how the business go as far as catering goes. So you
You chose the location, by the
Yeah.
way.
That.
According to the contract, it was up to them to choose the location. They
Oh,
like
okay.
the contract basically stated that the location needs to be chosen upon the whatever the provider choose.
Okay.
Okay.
So they
All right.
chose King of Prussia
They
Mall.
chose King of Prussia Mall.
Okay.
Right.
Which was, I mean, in my opinion, is not too bad. Because I mean, you get a lot of foot traffic, right? Which I've been to.
You've been to the location a few times.
I've been to this more than a few times.
Yeah.
It was
Every little shady. I haven't been.
Yeah.
I didn't go yet.
It's all good. It's all good.
Every Jewel weekend, I made it a point to say, let me go to.
Yeah.
We not going to the little Spanish place. I'm at the little Mexican place you
Yeah.
usually go to. I don't want to go to Wendy's. I don't want to go to
Going to the chicken
Wawa.
guy.
I'm gonna go there. Let me get a milkshake. Let me get some chicken
fingers and
fingers.
french fries like
I
you
said,
always
Let me
eat.
get something. I need to support my guy.
You know what? And the thing is, when I wasn't there, my employees or one of my manager will always say that y'all showed up. Right?
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
So they always let me know that you guys came. You know what I mean? So it was, and it felt good. It felt
Yeah.
good. I had a lot of support from the military.
I was gonna say.
Then-
I remember the email went out that kindly sent it to everybody.
He said, I pull up.
I had a lot of support from the military. And y'all know what? I'm mad at all of y'all.
Oh, wait, wow.
I'm mad at all of y'all.
Why?
Right? And this off topic. Nobody told me about Wilson. I'm so mad about Wilson.
Snap.
Oh, wait.
Yeah. That's
I know.
So listen,
That's my.
no, all right, so
yeah.
even
Go ahead.
we found out about it, it was literally like,
Yo,
hey, yo, you heard this happen, and we was on AT. So it was a battle, first of all.
I got through a text. And like, hey, such and such, did you hear about such and such? I'm like, oh my God, when I heard about it, it really hit my heart because he was someone
Good.
obviously really like a good person, real good hearted. And I was just like, dang.
Rest in peace to Wilson.
Yeah.
So R.I.P. Wilson, that's my guy. And the reason why I say that's my guy because when I put out the announcement that I was closing Chicken Guy, he came, right? And he was like, you know, Sean Cooper, I got your back in everything that you do. And he did, right? I had when I was still doing catering. Like when I first started catering, when I first got to the unit, I had a seafood event. He won a seat at the seafood event,
Okay.
and he came. He also utilized my catering service, my personal chef services. You know what I mean? He never gave me an issue about pricing. He always supported.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, and then he will reach out to me periodically. Like I talked to him a lot. Like you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like he will always reach out. And then when I was closing Chicken Guy, when I put out the video about me closing, he showed right up. He said, "You know, I got your back. I always got your back. I always got your back."
Okay.
So I didn't know that he passed away.
When
I
did you
didn't
find
know.
out?
You know, I don't be on Facebook like that. My
Yeah.
Facebook is
I don't even have a Facebook at all.
My Facebook is true ghetto. You gotta watch it against your eye,
Yeah.
right? So I randomly just went like, if I saw something on Instagram, it would automatically go to
Okay.
Facebook, right? So I randomly just decided to check Facebook like a week or 2 weeks after it happened. I don't know exactly.
You saw one of the.
And then it was just like, rest in peace, big guy. I'm like, yo,
Right.
this is crazy to me.
Yeah.
I mean, we
It's
pretty
crazy
much
all
all
of
got
them.
it. Yeah, we all got the same.
I cried. I cried. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
'Cause people don't understand that. They think that you have to go to war to have
Somebody.
to fill us for your battle buddy.
Right.
You
Right,
don't
don't.
have to lose a battle buddy in war, right?
Right.
You feel it if you lose them outside of war.
Right.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? Like life is life regardless of what it is. And when you build that brother and sisterhood within the military, nothing can shake that.
Right.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? I wish I was able to go to his funeral. I wish I knew. I wish I would have known, man.
Well, we
Yeah.
sincerely apologize. Like honestly, the people we was on. Listen, so we was
Right.
we literally had a couple minutes to be there. We got to see the viewing part, and then we had to leave. Like most of the
Something that
people
it
from
fit.
our unit that was there that knew him, I saw them from pictures. We didn't get a chance to stay around long enough for the whole ceremony and all that, which we wish we could. But I mean, everybody found out however they found out. I got a text message, you got a text
Right.
message, and it was literally like, I got a text message at 12 o'clock in the morning, like, hey, you heard about Wilson? And I'm like, huh?
Yeah.
A lot of people came through though. Like Sergeant Youngblood was there.
Yeah,
A lot of his mechanic or
it was definitely, he got the support that he deserved going
That's what's up. That's
Yeah.
what's up.
For
So
fact.
that's why I brought him up. I would have brought him up off
No,
topic,
it's all
but
good.
No.
thing is, as we're talking about Chicken Guy and the transition of me like opening, like you said, we opened Chicken Guy
Yeah.
in February. It's 2024. Keep in mind that the finale aired in 2022. We didn't open it till 2024.
Okay, 2 years later.
And then we closed in February of 2025.
But business look to me, it's, I mean, you could probably talk from a different standpoint as a manager of establishment, but it seems like it was booming. I ain't going usually Chick-fil-A be
Right.
popping. And in this case, Chick-fil-A line literally was small and you be sitting in line like, but even though your food was getting served quick, but it was like, damn, y'all taking business from everybody that was there. So how we get here?
Literally, when I look it up, it says Kevin Cooper won the Food Network's Guy Chance of a Lifetime in 2021. He claimed the fast food brand failed to pay his salary and expenses after the franchise went belly up. So,
Oh, so you wait. So
I have on here.
so she.
Yeah.
So she.
I already looked it up. I was ready to ask.
Oh, so she pouring up.
Yes.
Sheesh.
So
What happened?
So,
If you can speak on it, we don't know the.
I'm not gonna get too deep into it. You get what I'm saying, but what I will say is that it just wasn't a good fit.
Okay.
At the end of the day,
Okay.
you know what I mean? Like it. Some things transpired within that win that could have been avoided and wasn't avoided. And the thing is, people will say, well, why didn't you been say something? Clearly it was something that was going on because I'm not here to talk trash about somebody, about anybody, right? What I try to do is I try to learn a lesson out of all of this, right? We just talked about the money or the network,
Right.
Clearly the network wasn't, right?
Right.
It didn't happen.
Right.
But here's the thing. It happened, but it didn't happen in the way in which I wanted it to happen. But the lesson that I learned outside of that was deeper than all of it.
Okay.
Right? So the lesson, even outside of letting this Chicken Guy go and separating from the partners that was handling the situation, taught me that I don't need nobody but God. And that he will place the people who you need in your life
Right.
to help catapult you to new heights, okay? See, a lot of our lessons is not physical lessons. They are internal lessons,
Okay.
right? So if you got something in front of you and you're like, why am I going through this? Why am I going through this? Stop looking at the physicality of it. Stop looking at the tangible
Yeah.
thing about it, right? Look at what it's doing from within.
It's crazy that you can say that right now because it's literally something personal that I'm going through right now that speaks to. Like you said, God put people in positions where they need to be at the time that they need to be there. And you just saying that right now speaks like wonders. I ain't gonna lie to you. Just for somebody that's, say somebody starting off and they in the position that you went to, like what words can you give them in a sense to build on, just because everybody don't know your full story, a portion of it. So if they want to go through and not walk there, because nobody can walk your path, nobody can walk the same steps that you walk. But if they want to go through in a sense of the chef portion, what can you give them advice wise to help them build on just anything?
So what Brianna brought up was Chester Kitcheman, whichever.
I still go by Staff Sergeant Chester.
Okay, Staff Sergeant Chester.
Yep.
It's Kip Whitney. You better show off.
What she brought up was, it was true, right? It's true, right? But it's one of those things where the advice that I would give people is sit in that hurt. Sit in that pain. Allow it to grow you, right?
That's the first
But
word.
don't allow it to make you bitter. Allow it to make you better, right? I never talked to anybody about this. I never talked to the news about that.
Right.
I didn't put that information out there. You get what I'm saying? That was something that just happened, right? I mean, when you are associated with people that's in physical high places, right? It's bound to happen, right? But sometimes the lesson outside of all of the hurt is what you need for you to grow. Again, we talk about blooming,
Right.
right? When that lawsuit came out, me going through that situation gave me the confidence to finally go and talk to a lawyer about this situation. Because one thing about me, I'm still a soldier at the end of the day.
Right.
I'm gonna be loyal through and through, but I can't be more loyal to you than I am to myself.
Right.
I can't continue to pour out from an empty vessel, right? If like how can I help you if I can't even help myself no more?
Right.
Right? So now it's more so about, you got to be cognizant of who you associate yourself with, because understand that I don't want to, like, because people, I don't want to lead this podcast without saying that it's not just Guy Fieri. Like, people just associate all this with Guy Fieri when he's the face of the brand. It's a lot of different people, places, and things that's connected
That's
to.
all they think.
Okay.
You get what I'm saying? So, but association matters. That's the lesson. Association matters. Who you associate yourself with matters, because if you are associated with a particular person, place, or thing, you might be the one who look like
So you should have took the 50,000?
No.
No, this was a legacy, not taking a
50,000.
No.
I shouldn't have took the 50,000. I shouldn't have took the 50,000. I needed to go through this. This was a lesson that I needed to go through, right? Because the lesson is bigger than it all. The lesson is bigger than the breach. The lesson is bigger than the restaurant. The lesson is bigger than the show. The lesson is bigger than being on TV. The lesson is what catapults you to the next level.
Right.
And prepares you for your next level.
So since we talking about the next level, so what's next?
I'm about to ask, what's next?
Dude, so real quick, y'all, listen. Y'all know what I will say is I've been doing like a lot of self-preservation and a lot of like self-healing, right? There are a lot of things that's next, right?
Okay.
But y'all gotta stay tuned.
You gonna give us a little insight? Not a little bit.
Here's the thing. Like sometimes you just gotta keep people in suspense.
Right.
Right. You gotta keep them in suspense.
Right.
And then sometimes we speak too prematurely.
Right.
Right. So when we speak too prematurely and it falls through, you can't blame nobody else. You gotta blame yourself because
you already
too prematurely.
I feel that.
Yo, it's okay for you to be for you to be to be in self-work.
Right.
Right?
And you
So
did that too.
embrace that. Embrace that self-work. You know what I mean? So I still look good. I still feel good.
I feel that.
You know what I'm saying? The cadence, good for all to be in Hollywood. You know what I mean? So it's one of those things where, man, you ain't got to always be in the forefront and popping for things to be happening.
No, I feel
right. The background is the most important thing. If your background is all messed up, then your front is essentially messed up.
Right.
And that's why I don't like social media.
Because everybody want to show off.
Everybody looking good,
Looking good and hurting in the background.
but hurting in the background, man. So I encourage people to allow yourself to go through that pain, allow yourself to go through that transition, go through the lessons. Life is not all about feeling good, it's about growing good.
Right.
That makes sense, right? So even through those pains, you grow, right? So learn those lessons. Listen, I didn't want to give up the rest of mine, but I had to, right? I had to.
Right.
Sometimes you got to do some things you just don't want to do.
Right.
Let it go and keep it moving. Grow from it, learn from it, and be better next time.
I feel that.
Cool. Yeah.
So, Sar, we like to do a little thing at the end of all our episodes where we say one person or many people or whoever you want to shout out in this moment, just to give them a little light. Whoever you would like to say, whoever you like to put on the spotlight.
So first and foremost, I want to shout y'all out.
Oh, thank you.
For one, because it takes a lot to do this, right? And y'all all got a lot going on. Both of y'all got a lot going on. So thank y'all for giving a platform for people to speak their truth, speak their story, man. And I pray that this elevates exponentially.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you.
But first and foremost, outside of you guys for inviting me, I want to thank my wife. I want to thank my daughter. Need some brothers. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know, listen, my wife all day, my daughter all day. Like, that's my family. I mean, listen, I got my mom, my grandma, my brothers and sisters and all that, but my wife and my daughter, they have been with me through every step of mud that I walk through, right? And have grown with me as well through this whole transition. So shout out to them, but one and only God, man. I gotta give all the grace to the man above, man.
For sure.
He has grown me in ways. Listen, it's not about where you come from, it's about where you're going.
Correct.
So be open to the assignment, right? Be open to the assignment. So people say, how you have a relationship with God? Just have a relationship with it. Stop listening to what other people is going through. My life is not going to be like yours.
And relationship with him is going to be different than my relationship with him.
Like get in, like have that prayer time with him. Get in that word. Break that word down. You use ChatGPT. If you don't understand it, ask Chat to break it down for you. Break it down. You can say it and start having that relationship, and he will start leading you and guiding you into the path that is made specifically for you. You know what I mean? The path to righteousness, to greatness is very narrow. The path to everything else is super wide. Choose which path you want to go on. I want to be on a narrow joint.
Yeah.
I like
I want to be on a narrow joint. I want to be set apart. You get what I'm saying? So give it to God. Stop thinking that the strength all comes from you.
Right.
It comes from, listen, remember, one of the key things that I said today is that I won a whole series show while my wife was going through breast cancer and I lost my sister. Was murdered. Same mom, same dad, right under my sister, right under me. So she was with me my whole life, essentially.
Right.
How do you do that? You don't do that from your own strength.
Right.
You do that from the strength that God placed inside of you. Because a lot of people wouldn't have been able to take it. They wouldn't have been able to deal with it.
Right. Yeah, that breaks.
And that's just an example. That ain't. I can talk about a lot of other things.
Right.
But it will come out when it needs to.
As it should be. Who you got for us today? Who you got for us today?
I got you.
Oh.
I got you. So I just want to shout out my brother, Rocky Moore. And hopefully the next step for him is Sergeant First Class.
All day.
Who?
Yeah, for sure.
I am number one on the list, just for the record. You couldn't know, dude, man. I am number one on the list.
Sure, bitch.
Backstory, yeah, we checked.
It was told to him by many people.
It was, yeah.
And yeah, you know, to be honest, I felt a little sad when I found the news out, just because I'm a little bit more selfish, because he's been by my side ever since we both been in. And I was like, a part of me is leaving, but I'm happy for him at the same time. So
well, hopefully I don't gotta go far. Hopefully, if everything works out the way it should, I shouldn't have to go far, and then I can be exactly what you said, at forefront of our people.
Absolutely.
Showing the right way, because I lead from the front, and I lead from the rear. I lead all the way around.
That's what's up, bro.
So for me, I would like to shout out my backbone, the one person that who deals with all my nonsense, burst military, civilian, and relationship nonsense, and she carry the way that she should carry. Unfortunately, I go through a lot because this job, which we all know, military wise, civilian wise, it can be very stressful, and that's my backbone. She able to take on most of that heat and be able to push me in the right direction and give me when I'm not able to, know the right path to go. She able to push me in the right way. So shout out to you, my woman, for
What's her name?
Rashana,
Okay.
for putting me in the right path and keeping me in the right mindset. Most of the times when I'm weak. So
All right.
That's what's up, man.
Yeah.
grateful for that. And
Alright.
with that,
It's a wrap.
is a wrap.
It's a rich.
Yeah.